Have you ever felt overwhelmed by your own emotions? Do you sometimes react before you think and regret it later? What if you could navigate the chaos of daily life with unwavering calm, strength, and purpose? This isn't a fantasy. It's a discipline, a mindset, a way of living, taught by some of the wisest minds in history, the Stoics. If you're ready to take control of your mind, master your emotions, and live with clarity, you're in the right place. Subscribe now if you want more content like this, helping you build a life based on inner strength, not outer noise. Let's dive into the ancient wisdom that still holds power today. 1. Begin with clarity. The Stoic morning ritual. Before the chaos of the world descends upon us, before notifications, headlines, and demands start flooding in, the Stoics teach us to begin with something simple yet profound: clarity. This moment just after waking is sacred. It is the space where your mind is unshaped by outside interference, and it is here that great minds like Marcus Aurelius chose to build the foundations of their day. Marcus, Emperor of Rome, and perhaps the most iconic Stoic, understood that the day would bring challenges. He didn't hope for a peaceful day free from irritation. He didn't wish away obstacles. Instead, he anticipated them. He sat with his thoughts and reminded himself, "Today I shall meet with meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly people." He did not say this with bitterness. He said it to prepare his soul. With clarity, he met reality. This mental rehearsal wasn't pessimism. It was strength. It was armor. Because to be forewarned is to be forearmed. In a world that constantly changes and often disappoints, the Stoic finds clarity not by predicting every detail, but by knowing in advance what virtues he or she wishes to embody, regardless of what arises. Each morning, ask yourself, what might I face today? Maybe stress, delays, insults, or injustice. Know that these are not personal attacks from the universe. They are the natural flow of life. Recognizing this keeps you from feeling ambushed. Who might test my patience? Whether it's a colleague, a stranger in traffic, or someone close to you. Understanding that people often act out of their own struggles helps you respond with wisdom instead of anger. What virtues do I want to practice? Patience, humility, courage, forgiveness. These are your tools. Choose them consciously. This ritual sets the tone. Rather than being dragged by the current of the day, you step in with intention. You lead your day instead of being led by it. You don't wait to react, you decide to act. And this shift, though subtle, is powerful. The morning ritual isn't about perfection. It's about grounding. Even if the day goes wrong, and it often will, you'll have something steady to return to. You'll remember, I prepared for this. I knew this could happen. I can still choose virtue. In time, this daily moment becomes a cornerstone. You build discipline. You train your mind to see beyond impulse. And with each day that you begin in stillness and clarity, you live more purposefully. The world may still be chaotic, but you are not. 2. Own only. What is yours? The power of inner control. Life is full of moving parts. Plans get derailed. People let us down. Traffic stalls. The weather turns sour. And despite all our effort, there are countless things outside of our grasp. But here's the Stoic secret. Peace comes not from controlling everything. It comes from controlling what you can and letting go of the rest. The Stoics drew a clear line in the sand. Epictetus, a former slave turned philosopher, said, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not." This simple truth can change your life. Ask yourself, what is truly mine to govern? You can't control how others behave. You can't control whether people like you. You can't control how the stock market moves, how your boss feels, or how long a storm lasts. But you can control how you respond to those things. You control your thoughts, your decisions, your attitude, your values. This boundary is liberating. Imagine how much energy you spend trying to manage the uncontrollable. Worrying about opinions, obsessing over outcomes, micromanaging every detail. The Stoics would say, stop, let go of the illusion that you must fix the world. Fix yourself. Govern your judgments. Rule over your impulses. Choose how you see things and how you act. When you make this shift, when you stop trying to own what isn't yours, you reclaim incredible power. Suddenly, you're no longer at the mercy of every mood, every headline, every social comment. You become stable like a rock in a river. The current flows around you, but it doesn't move you. This isn't apathy. It's wisdom. You still care about the world. You still strive to do good, but you don't hinge your peace on things outside your influence. Instead, you root yourself in virtue, in discipline, in clarity of thought. Each day, pause and ask, am I focusing on what's mine? To control? Am I wasting energy on someone else's actions or opinions? What's the most virtuous response I can offer in this situation? When you answer honestly, you free yourself. The more you return to this practice, the more resilient you become. You move through life with calm. You accept what comes without becoming a victim of it. True freedom, the Stoics say, isn't the absence of obstacles. It's the presence of self-mastery. And that's something you can own, always. 3. Suffer wisely. Turning pain into power. No one escapes pain. Life, by nature, includes suffering. But the Stoics didn't fear this truth. They embraced it. Why? Because suffering, when viewed rightly, becomes fuel for transformation. Epictetus was beaten and enslaved. Marcus Aurelius buried children and ruled during plague and war. They knew pain intimately. But instead of letting it harden them, they used it to sharpen their character. They believed suffering could either be your undoing or your becoming. The Stoic doesn't ask, why me? The Stoic asks, what now? Pain arrives in many forms: loss, betrayal, illness, failure. It can make you bitter, or it can make you wise. The difference lies in how you interpret it. When something hurts, pause. Look deeper. Ask, what is this teaching me? Maybe it's showing you your limits. Maybe it's revealing hidden strength. Maybe it's burning away illusions. Who can I become because of this? Hardship can carve out deeper empathy, greater patience, sharper focus. It's not about ignoring the pain, it's about using it. Pain is not the enemy. Indifference to its lessons is. The Stoics saw suffering not as punishment, but as a forge. Fire doesn't just destroy, it also purifies. Your character, when tested, reveals what you're truly made of. This mindset doesn't deny grief or hurt. It accepts them. But it also refuses to let them dictate your worth or future. You are not defined by what happens to you. You are defined by what you choose. Because of it, in the moment of pain, remember, it's temporary. But the lessons you extract, the strength you build, and the virtue you practice, that can last a lifetime. Let pain become your teacher. Let it shape your courage. Let it deepen your resilience. Every scar can be a story of strength, if you choose to suffer wisely. 4. Respect the present, master the moment. The past is gone, the future isn't guaranteed. But this moment, it's alive, and it's yours. In our fast-paced, distraction-heavy world, this idea may sound simple, too simple to be meaningful. But simplicity doesn't mean insignificance. In fact, the ability to live fully in the present moment is one of the most profound practices we can undertake. The Stoics understood this deeply. They taught that being anywhere other than the present moment was a form of self-neglect. Marcus Aurelius, emperor of Rome and a devoted Stoic, once wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." He wasn't being morbid. He was being real. Life is unpredictable. We don't control how long we'll live, but we do control how we show up for the time we have, and we only ever have now. When you're lost in regrets of the past or anxiety about the future, you miss the richness of the current moment. You may be physically present, sitting in a room, having a conversation, but mentally, emotionally, you're miles away. And life slips through your fingers unnoticed. This is why the Stoics viewed distraction not just as an annoyance, but as disrespect. It is a refusal to engage with reality. Every time you drift off into fantasy, scroll endlessly through your phone, or replay old wounds in your head, you're essentially telling life, "You're not enough for me." But life is happening now, not in your memories, not in your plans, not in your what-ifs. Now, respecting the present means fully inhabiting it. That starts with awareness. When you eat with attention, taste the food. When you listen to someone, really listen, without waiting for your turn to speak. When you work with intention and pride, no matter how small the task. There is dignity in doing one thing with full presence, rather than juggling 5 things while being mentally checked out. Presence is not about perfection, it's about participation. It's about choosing to engage with the world as it is, not as you wish it were. That doesn't mean you never plan or reflect. Planning and reflecting are necessary, but they should be done consciously and with purpose, not as habitual escapes from discomfort or boredom. Ironically, living in the moment often makes you more effective in the future. Why? Because when you give your full focus to what you're doing now, whether it's learning, building, resting, or connecting, you're investing in a stronger version of yourself. That's a future worth working toward. The present is also the only place where change can occur. You cannot rewrite yesterday. You cannot fast forward to tomorrow. But right now, you can take a breath instead of yelling. You can choose to act instead of procrastinating. You can choose love instead of indifference. Think of your life as a series of single, present moments, stacked one on top of the other. That's what it is. And if you waste too many of them distracted, bitter, or afraid, you end up looking back with regret. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." That's not an order to ignore life's complexities. It's a call to power. Because the present is where your power lives. Not in some imagined better time, but right here, right now. So ask yourself, are you truly here? Or are you just waiting for a future that may never come? Don't just pass time, live it. 5. Master your reactions. Choose principles over impulses. When someone insults you, when life throws you off course, do you react or do you respond? This distinction is one of the clearest windows into Stoic thinking. The Stoics taught that we don't control what happens to us, but we absolutely control how we interpret and respond to it. That gap between stimulus and response is where our freedom resides. Reactions are quick. They're often emotional. You get cut off in traffic and you yell. Someone disrespects you and you snap. These are reactions, reflexes powered by ego, insecurity, or fear. They feel justified in the moment, but more often than not, they lead to regret. Responses, on the other hand, are thoughtful. They are guided by reason and grounded in your values. When you respond, you pause, you breathe, you ask, what's the wise thing to do here? That small pause can change everything. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, echoed Stoic wisdom when he said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. The Stoics were teaching this centuries earlier. Let's take an example. Someone insults you in public. Your reaction might be to fight back, to shame them, to win. But is that really a win? Do you feel better afterward, or just emptier? A Stoic would ask, is this within my control? And if the insult isn't, then it's not worth losing your peace over. Instead, you could respond with patience or even indifference. Not because you're weak, but because you're strong enough to resist being pulled down to their level. Strength isn't about dominance, it's about self-command. This is why Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Freedom doesn't come from controlling others, it comes from mastering your own inner world, your urges, your emotions, your impulses. Training this ability requires practice. Just like a muscle, your ability to pause and choose your response gets stronger with use. Start small. The next time you're frustrated, don't immediately vent. Breathe, observe. Ask, what outcome do I really want? Often, you'll realize that reacting would only escalate the problem. A Stoic response doesn't mean being emotionless, it means being emotionally wise. Anger, fear, and sadness are human. The Stoic goal is not to suppress them, but to govern them so that they serve you rather than enslave you. Responding based on principles means having those principles ready. What do you stand for? Patience, integrity, justice, courage. When you clearly define your values, you're less likely to act out of impulse. You become someone who chooses their path rather than stumbling blindly through it. Think of the person who pauses before speaking in a heated argument, who listens without interrupting, who takes criticism without immediately becoming defensive. That person has real power, not power over others, but power over themselves. The Stoics compared this kind of mastery to ruling a kingdom. Anyone can take a city by force. But how many can conquer their own mind? That is the rarer, nobler victory. So train the pause. Practice stillness. When life presses you, press pause in return. That's where your power is. And in that space between stimulus and response, you're not just reacting, you're becoming the person you were meant to be. Live like a Stoic. Live on purpose. Every day offers a battlefield, not with others, but with ourselves, with distraction, with fear, with ego. But Stoicism gives us the tools to fight, not with force, but with wisdom, to live not reactively, but intentionally. So remember, begin your day with clarity. Own only what's truly yours. Use suffering to grow stronger. Be fully present. Choose responses rooted in principle. And above all, live by your values, not the noise of the world. If this spoke to you, subscribe, share this with someone who needs it, and take a moment today to reflect. Am I living by design or by default? Thanks for watching. Now go live like a Stoic.